A lot of chatter, please. Don't work for me like it worked for you, Dave. Why is that? All right, I would respect it if you would turn your cell phones off. You really don't want to know what's going to happen if I hear your cell phone ring while we're doing the presentation. All right, so if you would respect the speakers, please turn the cell phones off. Turn down the chatter, people. Thank you. For those that don't know me, my name is... I was going to put that call please silence your phone. Please silence your phone. That's probably our phone back calling him right now. You're lucky, I'm just going to throw it across the board. Alright. So I'm the first picture. Now, getting back to me. For those that don't know me, anybody remember what my name is? Thank you! Thank you! Wait a minute, I have to look. Alright, my name is Jim Rush. I'm on the executive board of the Lehigh Valley Tea Party. For those that cannot remember my name, here's what I tell them. You take one look at me.
And we throw up.
It's that man should rush to the gym. You got it? Yeah. All right. Let's get back to the business at hand.
If everyone could please rise. Heavenly Father, as we gather this evening as patriots here in the United States of America, we thank you for this great land, for our forefathers, the founders of this country, for having the wisdom to create the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and to see that limited government is what it's really about. We ask you to bless our candidates as we get closer to Election Day, that they continue to get the support they need, financial, volunteers, and most importantly, voters. Open the eyes of those who are still undecided, and for those who think that a feel-good group would be the solution, put into their minds and their souls a different vision. A vision of making America great again. And we ask you to bless this meeting. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing for the national anthem. Cross your fingers on technology.
Otherwise, Jim is weak.
No, remain standing.
Spot.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you can read, please, this is extremely important. No solicitation, canvassing, or distribution of literature. That is strictly prohibited. This is a private organization. So unless you get clearance from this front table here where I'm at, for either myself, Tom, or Bill, no literature is to go out. If we catch you putting it out, we will remove you. Simple as that. All right, let's take a look. Opening remarks. My opening remarks, folks, as everyone says, this is an extremely important election. This is a no-brainer, folks. So we're asking you to do your part, okay? At one of the, I'll just tell you, at a Northampton County Northampton County Republican Committee, the majority of the people come in there for three things. One, science. Two, to complain. And three, to give us ideas of what we're doing wrong. My response to them is simple. I say, folks, we'll give you signs, your ideas, execute those ideas. We are not here to take ideas, we are here to execute ideas. Okay? So, what we need everyone to do in this room is to bring someone to Tea Party meetings, to get out there and vote, to be a poll watcher, to be a greeter, to do something to help turn this vote. Donald Trump does not need to do this. He's doing it because he loves America. I'm sure each and every one of you have the same story. So I'll give you a little story that Tom didn't want me to tell you, but I'm going to say it anyway. Tom had an accident several years ago. He was in his car and he hit one of those, what do they call it? The guy with the horse and buggy. Right? So anyway, you know, Tom's an attorney, so unfortunately he did have to go to court about this. So what happened was, he hit the horse and buggy so hard and the guy had a dog in there. So the poor horse, two broken legs, the deputy sheriff pulled up, he saw the horse kicking, and the gentleman said, the sheriff said, what would you like me to do? He says, put that horse out of his misery. The dog howling, the sheriff said, what would you like to do? He said, he's in misery, put him out of his misery. Tom's holding his shoulder, he's hurting. The sheriff says, how do you feel? He says, I'm doing great, officer. Okay. Harrisburg Right for Life March. There's several of us, if you were in the Harrisburg Right for Life March. So what happened is we finally got here early. So what did we do? We went inside to the Capitol because it was pouring rain. And as you can see, we were at the front steps over there. And then we went into Lisa Boscolo's office. So if you see right behind that poor girl is a close friend of mine. Her name is Annie Lee. There's Joe and Emily. I'm taking the picture, so I'm not in it. But anyway, we gave them a little piece of our mind. So we went in there, and then there's some of the pictures from our sponsors, which is a bunch of Knights of Columbus councils there. So we have our Knights of Columbus out of Sacred Heart. We have one from Bethlehem. We have one from Easton. We also have the Sacred Heart Minor. They didn't bring their son. But as you can see, there was a great turnout. One of our speakers here from the Tea Party, Mark Tapp, was there. So, folks, we ask you to support life at all stages. All right, the next one here, prayers go out for all of our sick members, family, and friends. So how many of you know Bud Norris? He's one of our board members. His wife, Beverly, in fact, he called me tonight. He could make it. His wife is being moved from hospital to hospital. She's so weak that she can't even have the surgery she needs. So if you could keep Bud Norris's wife in your prayers. Today is Rosh Hashanah, so for all of our Jewish brothers and sisters, I used to live in Elizabeth in an Orthodox neighborhood, so they were very kind to me. We're also asking for peace in the Middle East. All of us know what's going on in Israel and Ukraine. Hurricane Helene. Lourdes said something great. How many of you heard her on Gunther this morning? I'll let her tell the story. That was a great response. Oh, Gunther's here. We're going to bring Gunther up in a second there. They had a lively conversation. All right, so Hurricane Helene, and then the gentleman on the right. How many of you ever recall seeing that guy on the right-hand side? So that gentleman, his name is Mike Orsi. Now, he was a member of the Tea Party. He was also a member of the Fearless Fire Company. He went disappearing in July. They told me here in the club, actually, one specifically, he said that about 10 days ago, his body was found in the woods. It sounds like his body was ravaged by animals or something like that, so there's a collection downstairs. If you remember, you want to go give something to him. I remember him coming up to me probably in the June meeting and saying, or it was probably the July meeting, saying he's going through a rough time. So obviously it was rougher than I thought. So, all right. So we have here, we're going to ask you to please respect our speakers. Yeah, and so since we do have a speaker that's known to all of you, if you do not know him, we would like to invite Bobby Gunther Walsh to the podium to say hello to all of you. And we want to thank him for coming to the Tony, it's just the stage he's passing through.
Oh, it's my racing accident, but I'm getting there. I'll be healed up and back in. I'm doing, as you know, doing this show every day, but doing it from my home studio, but hope to be back in the radio station studio in a couple of weeks. Lourdes was phenomenal.
Lourdes, I said, so you see you.
There she is. Great to see you. She's one of those guests that Ken, I'm sure, is familiar with. It's basically set it and forget it. I asked her one question and she was off to it. She's honest to God, she never came up for her hair. She was great. It's a podcast. She's phenomenal and passionate. And she can say things like that. I did remark, one of the few things I got in is it's amazing. The things she said about these people don't belong here, we say it, we're in trouble. She's not really Hispanic or Latino or Venezuelan because she said it, so she's really not black, she's really not gay, she's really not whatever, really not okay, but she got away with it. She was on it again as a podcast. Thank you guys for what you're doing. It's really important what you're doing, and you guys have stuck with us through all these years, and it's a great attendance, and it's just, you're probably one of the few ones that still keeps going. So thank you for what you're doing. I just want to make one other comment. That gentleman that he pointed out was found in the woods. Folks, there is a high rate of suicide in this country amongst veterans, but also amongst seniors who are lonely and kids. So try to pay better attention to people, not faulting anybody, but just try to pay attention to your friends and do what you can. And, you know, they say don't ask, don't tell, right, but if you see something, say something. Well, if you think something, say something. If you think they're struggling, say something, because the chances are they are. Be somebody in this room. So, hey, thanks again for everything. Looking forward to listening to Ken and Lourdes. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Did you tell them about your friend Tom Del Pomoro coming next month?
Oh, yes. Tom is a frequent guest on the show. He's on his honeymoon. Let's call him. If the answer is he knows, I'm going back. Tom's got a great book on American civilization. It's his second book. It's a great book, and he'll be here next
month.
Oh, yeah, next month.
And we might have also the American Petroleum Institute coming from Harrisburg, so we'll make sure you can interview them.
November 7th, yeah, I'm going to make sure I interview Tom before his appearance. But you realize on November 7th, it's over. Or it's not. Who knows, right? They'll still be counting or still be voting. Who knows? Thank you very much. God bless America. God bless the nation.
Next up, folks, we have a visitor. Jim, if you can introduce our next visitor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome to the stage one of our candidates, Ryan McKenzie. Ryan?
It's always great to be back at the LVTP party. Tremendous turnout, and it's great to see Gunther back in action. We're a little short glad you're doing better. But first of all, I just want to give you a very quick update on the campaign. So, as you guys have seen, we are fighting Susan Wild every single day of the week. We are pushing back on her lies. When she pushes this negative stuff on TV, we have been calling her out in the media, forcing the hand of the morning call to actually publish those ad watches that they do all the time. Well, we said, where are they for Susan Wild and all the lies she's pushing? We've gotten now 2 ad watch checks on her ad. The first one was talking about her being a leader on border security. She has voted against border funding 10 different times in Congress. She called a border wall silly on video in a debate with Tony Iannelli, and she also said sanctuary cities are safer. And so after 6 years of that kind of failed leadership, it was time to call her out. So I don't know if some of you saw the debates, but on WFMZ, I called her out directly on this issue and so many other things she has failed on. She didn't have a good answer. She tries to say, oh, well, I would have voted for this or that. She tries to duck and dodge. But in that ad that we called her out on, it also turned out that she had an individual that was called by the New York Post a fake police officer vouching for her. The guy was not even a police officer, didn't have anything to do with the border, and he's trying to tell us in our community how great she is on the border. So thankfully that got called out. The second ad watch was about my position on IVF, and they have this very deceptive ad where they say, have a family who I'm very empathetic to. Obviously, if anybody is going through that, personally, I want them to have that opportunity. I just had my son 6 months ago. Maybe you've seen him in the ads. He's doing great. We love him. We want anybody else to have that same opportunity to grow their family. And so, you know, my heart goes out to a family that is in an ad who had to go through that. But then they play this sleight of hand and be very deceptive, and they say, well, Ryan McKenzie is backed by these people that will ban IVF. And they put up a picture of a couple of people from Congress who I've never met, who I've never received any funding from, who, you know, have nothing to do with our campaign, but they try to scare you. They try to scare people. That's what they do on the issue of abortion. They do it on IVF. They've been doing it on Social Security and Medicare, saying that I'm going to gut those things. And the justification, if you check out the footnotes, it's this boogeyman that they've created of Project 2025, right? I mean, so we all know this is a bunch of garbage. We all know that her messaging and the $18 million that they are spending on TV against me is all a bunch of lies and nonsense. So we know that. You have to just let it roll off your back. Unfortunately, that's the way things are. But the flip side, so in addition to calling her out in the debates and in the media and all this other stuff, we are out there pushing our positive message for what we want to see in Washington, D.C. And we need big change in November. We all know that. On inflation, the massive overspending, the reckless spending, that corporate welfare that they gave out to all of their liberal friends, that's what has driven inflation in this country. We need to rein that in. We need to close our southern border. We need to make sure that we are stopping that flow of illegal immigrants that are coming into our country bringing drugs and crime and all of those problems. And just a couple of weeks ago, I actually went down to the southern border. I went to Arizona. I was in Cochise County, Arizona with the sheriff's office. And they gave us an opportunity to do a ride-along with them at night. It wasn't us. There was another officer who was out. Ended up stopping somebody for a traffic stop. They go to approach the car flees, and they're calling us over the radio for backup, you know, saying, hey, get over there. And so we're flying 110 miles an hour through the desert in Arizona down the highway, and ultimately we catch up to the car and the one that they were trying to pursue. He tried to veer off into a neighborhood, crashed into a fence. Car got hung up on that fence. He jumped out, the individual. He's fleeing on foot. Ultimately, we get there, we see the officers. It was like cops running through the neighborhood, flashlights bouncing through the night. And ultimately, that individual went over a wall, broke his leg, unfortunately for him. But the police caught him. And the reason that he was fleeing was because he was in the country illegally. And they told us, they said, unfortunately, we go through this every single night, where we have to pull people over, we try to stop them from being here in the country illegally. And they said in this part of Arizona, most of these individuals are working with the cartels. And that's what they're doing. And so they traffic people and drugs up from the south, and then they have money that those individuals have paid them, and they've gotten for their drugs. They have to get the money back to Mexico, and along the way they buy guns and take them to Mexico illegally so the cartels can keep their operation going. And so that's what they're fighting every single night. The next day we went to the border, and we saw 3 different segments of border wall. First is the Obama wall, what they call the Obama wall. 18 feet high, and it does need to be passable for water. Water needs to get through there. They have heavy flooding and stuff. But the first 6 or 8 feet are built like a ladder. And I have the pictures on my phone. I will show anybody who's interested. Not a very good design if you want to keep people out from coming into your country. And it's 18 feet high, so you can physically get over it fairly easily. Then there is the Trump section. 30 foot high, just those straight poles. They said very difficult to get over. Not impossible, somebody can, but very difficult. Really slows down somebody's progress from trying to enter the country illegally. You know, so they try to blowtorch, cut through it, whatever. But in the meantime, they can see them on camera. They can get a border agent out there and stop the person. And then, off in the distance, and I have a picture of it, you see the Biden section. There is no wall. It is a wide open desert. And to make matters worse, and this is what is so offensive to me, and it should be to every single person in this room and every single American, is there are pallets of poles that Donald Trump bought, piled up on the U.S. side of that border. There is construction equipment to put those poles in the ground. And they said the day that Joe Biden got in office, all construction stopped. And they said that stuff has been sitting there for 3.5 years. And so what do the drug cartels do? They just, in the middle of the night, where there are no cameras and it's under the cover of darkness, they go around, out in the desert, around that border wall, and then end up in our communities. And they said, you know, they're trying to stop it for their communities and their country, but they said the flow of drugs and the human trafficking, it doesn't stop there in Arizona. They said it's all headed for your community. You're the ones that are going to be impacted by this ultimately. And so that visual brought home the importance of our elections and policy. Because if you get the wrong people elected to office, it leaves all of us less safe and more vulnerable. And so come November, we have about a month to go, but we need to make sure that we elect Donald Trump to be our next president. We need Dave McCormick in the U.S. Senate and get control of that U.S. Senate. And we need to boot Susan Wild from Congress and make sure that we keep our majority in the U.S. House. We're only going to do it together. So I'm going to keep fighting every single day. If you want to join our fight, Andre Sweller, my campaign manager, is in the back of the room. See him, call our office, visit our website at McKenzieForCongress.com. But I am optimistic. What I am seeing and hearing from people every single day when I'm out on the campaign trail is that they are tired of the failures in Washington, D.C., and they want change in November. So let's bring it to them, and let's do it loud and clear. Let's go talk to those guys. Thank you all.
Hey, it's funny that Ryan would say let's boo Susan Wild. This story, you heard the story, it broke today. Pennsylvania Democratic Representative Susan Wild's car booted in Washington, D.C. racking up $775 in fines, and she was also parking in handicap spots. You got $18 million to spend to be him, but not $775 to pay the fines.
Thank you for that, Bobby. All right, now our membership and treasury reports. If you guys read OSNA's, 7,388 regular and associate members right now. Our bank balance, $63,834.51. Credit line available funds is $16,000.
People ask, why do we keep asking for money? Folks, that $63,000 is chumps of change. If we ever get sued, we need money to defend ourselves, okay? Each month, it costs us money to run this meeting. Additionally, to be able to go to any representative and say, hey, we mean business. There's two things we need. We need a bank balance and we need membership. So that's why we always push for those two things. Hope you understand that.
Alrighty, looking out in the audience, do we have any first-time members, attendees here? First-time attendees, Lord, stand up to the first time, and she came from Miami. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Now, we recommend that you become members of the Tea Party during the break. You see you here at the side table, sign up. All right, the 50-50 raffle tonight. During the break, you see Tom in the back where it says raffle tickets. Pick up your raffle tickets, your 50-50 tickets. One prize. Some lucky person is going to walk away with a substantial amount of money. And I can be bought.
Okay, the guns and goodies again. As you saw, Jackie was up here with that beautiful red hat, autographed by Donald J. Trump. How many of you would like to win that hat? So for a small investment of $25 or $20, you could potentially be the winner. Plus, we have several handguns on there. If you, for some reason, do not want that handgun, you could go to Boyer's and they could give you the cash value of that handgun, or do something like I would do and upgrade, go to a higher value gun. But folks, as you can see, there's several restaurants there. We have the Sporting Clays, Anson belt and buckle. I use that belt. It holds my my pants in place and my gun in place. All right, and then we have our associate friends, the Fearless Fire Company. We have a good working relationship with them, and they are doing their biannual meat raffle. As you can see, there's 50 prizes. We are fortunate enough to fill that room with usually about 4 to 6 tables, and they have food and beer for free, and there's dancing, and we usually win ballpark about 20 tickets. I know Valerie's won a few of those tickets over the years, so they're 3 for $5, or again, we have a special tonight, 6 for $10. All right, Bill Bockenberg is going to tell you about this slide. This is the NRA, so Bill, if you could chime in here.
Well, good evening, everyone. I haven't missed the last couple of meetings. I've been really busy with my new responsibilities at NRA. But we got involved with something called Hunt the Vote. And what we've done is we've identified all the conservative hunters in Pennsylvania. There's about 588,000 conservative hunters in Pennsylvania. And they're broken down into the ones that didn't vote in either presidential election, voted in one or the other presidential election, or voted in both. Plus there's about 4,000 brand new hunters that'll be their first election. The sad part is there's about 166,000 conservative hunters in Pennsylvania that are hunters. We know who they are. We've got them down to the household through targeting and access. And the Hunt the Vote program basically takes the celebrities that all the hunters know, Don Jr., Ted Nugent, Swamp Boys, Duck Dynasty, and they're reaching out to the hunters to get them to come out to vote. If you're a member of a hunting club, please pass the word. We need every person to vote. Every family member. 588,000 hunters will win the election to President Trump. It's even sadder, the numbers on the Christian side. About half of them are registered to vote. So we've got a lot of work to do. If you can donate, we appreciate it, but thank you for your support. Question?
Yes, what's the deadline to register to vote?
What's the deadline to register to vote? October 21st, is it? October 21st. There's voter registration and ballot applications on each table. So take them home with you if you know individuals that are not registered to vote. And you've got more up here. Thank you and have a good evening.
All right, we have raffle tickets available in the back. Melissa, how many do we have left? 40 tickets left. When we sell those 40, we draw for the prize from Relic Hunter or Lehigh Valley Sporting Clays, AF Blair, whatever you decide. And you can use your certificate if you want for gun trading, ammo, et cetera, et cetera. And we only sell 100 tickets. There are 40 left. During the break, you can see Melissa in the back. Oh, see that guy? All right, she's telling me to see Steve. So see Steve and pick up your tickets. Second Amendment book by David Martin. Okay, I'll let you guys read this. They're for sale at the Second Amendment table. They're only $5, and that's in the back also. The chips, you can purchase if you're short on cash. You can purchase chips for anything you want to buy. If you want to use them for the raffle tickets, if you want to use them to put the money in the buckets to help support the Lehigh Valley Tea Party, you can use those chips for anything you want in place of cash.
Also, don't forget, kindly help my Boy Scouts get to West Point. My major expense is renting a van to get them there, cover the gas, the insurance, and if you can consider buying a brownie case or cannolis, and that's why your husbands come. They don't come to hear us speak, they come for a cupcake.
And it's opposite, you come for cannoli.
All right, we have the flyer in the back. I do believe Melissa has those flyers for Patriot-minded businesses. It's a list of, it's a free list of businesses in and around the Lehigh Valley that support us. If you know a Patriot-minded business that would like to be on the list, see Mel at the back table and get your free copy of the flyer back there.
Merchandise is in the back, lanyards, t-shirts, seat cushions. We have a special, as Jim said, $5. Perfect for football season and coming to the Lehigh Valley Tea Party. See Melissa in the back. Anyone that has a handgun, a shotgun, or you have ever been provoked by someone in the parking lot or honking their horn that they might get into any type of physical altercation with you, folks, you will have to get an attorney. The best thing to do is have that ahead of time, an attorney ready to go. U.S. Law Shield, if you join them and you put the LVTP, instead of paying for 12 months, you get 14 months, it's under $150. There should be cards at the table. If not, ask me at the break or at the end of the meeting.
All right, now I'm going to invite to the stage Mallory Ferguson to speak about the support for the troops. I have it now.
That's 5 minutes. You know, the Tea Party is getting to be very interesting. We have Bobby Gunther tonight, surprise, and then we had Ryan. I feel like I'm on 10 o'clock Fox News. Next time, maybe Donald will show up. Anyway, I'm going to answer a question tonight that Kamala Harris could not answer on her only presidential debate.
Oh boy, this weekend.
And that is that Americans are not better off than they were 4 years ago. And if she wins, God forbid, I firmly believe that our country's economy will continue to spiral downward. And support the troops, which is now going into its 16th year, will even get busier sending free care packages to our military because the need is more needed and maybe even for another world war. So if you know someone serving, come see me in the back. You don't know what we do, we send free care packages year-round. If you want more information, come see me in the back. And vote Trump, and talk to others about voting for Trump. Bill, that number you gave us is astounding. It's awful. Anyway, God bless all of you, God bless all our families, God bless our President Trump, and God bless America. Thank you.
All right, if you read the slide right now and you ask why we ask for donations, there are buckets on the tables. We kindly ask that perhaps you could drop a $10 bill in there. We would not be unhappy if you dropped a 20 in there. But you can also drop a 5 or whatever you may feel you're comfortable with. Again, you can use the chips if you like to. All right. At this time, I would like to introduce one of our main speakers for the night, radio talk show host, the man with the big smile back here, Ken Matthews.
How are you? Very excited to be here, as I always am, because you guys are energized, you're local, you're engaged, and you have brains. And it's just so great to talk to people that understand what's going on. If one more person tells me that 2020 was the most secure election, my head's going to explode. But before I go any further, Bobby, you still move better than Joe Biden up here. And one more thing about Bobby, he's been on AM 790 for, as you know, 77 years. I've been in a lot of different markets, and I really learned the whole dynamic of local politics listening to his content. And as you know, in all the different markets around the country, people are shutting down free speech. And in some cases, they're getting rid of radio people. And I have to say that you're very fortunate to have someone like Bobby who's so engaged in all the different aspects of the local political scene. Because as you know, that's where the power is. That was the hardest thing for me to learn 25, 30 years ago. I voted, but I was all about the president, the senator, and the congressman. Then when you see the power that the local committees have, and the townships, and the people that run these different smaller organizations, and Bobby has always managed to bring that to you in a very entertaining way, like his interview with Lourdes, who will be speaking shortly. So I just wanted to recognize Bobby and give him a round of applause for that. We are in a battle. Of course, you're not allowed to use the word battle anymore. So don't be at a bar saying, we're in a battle. Someone's going to call 911. We're in a battle. The media is not on our side. I think we figured that out. Yeah. By the way, I'm not going to get in trouble. I just want to promote my flyer. This is my flyer. It's homemade. It says, do you want the truth or do you want a fancy flyer? And it has a copy of my card, and that's just to save money. So, and it's on recycled paper. But it's only $5.99 a month. And we do have a lot of fun getting to the truth. Couple life changes for me since I was here last. Both my sons work full-time. They have benefits, and they're off our insurance. Neither one of them have been arrested. Life is good. One of them lives in his own apartment. He can stack those socks and underwear up anywhere he wants. I probably prayed more this past year than any other time in my life. And you know the power of prayer. I know there's people in this audience that know the power of prayer and the impact of having a good relationship with God when things look overwhelming. So please take some time tonight when you are praying and pray for Colorado County Clerk Tina Peters, who's going to prison for 9 years because she dared to question the election, to expose the election, and they ended up framing her and railroading her. And I was very watching this case closely because of Tom's involvement and Stephanie's involvement and other attorneys. And I've developed some contacts around the country, and I've never been more concerned. I'm not going to say afraid, because at the end of the day, God's calling the shots. I don't care how big Obama thinks he is. He may be the Obama Messiah, but he ain't no God. So it has been a bit disheartening to me. People from Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, people that have been on my show, and the charges were so trumped up in the case of Tina. And that's what was so scary to me. That it just is amazing to me that it's being allowed to happen in our country. So if you could pray for her, I can't even imagine going to prison, let alone for 8 years, or 9 years, a nonviolent crime. And all she did, she kept going to her superiors, I'll give you a thumbnail sketch of the case, saying, look, this is wrong, we have to get this information, we have to save this, we have to do a reconciliation, not just a recount, because recounts are bogus. And they just stopped her, and so she said, well, I'll bring in my own expert. And she had the right to examine it because of her position. She was a county clerk. So it's not like she came in off the street and said, I think I'm going to break into a computer. She brought someone in to examine it, and boom, the FBI said, you can't do that. You're stealing federal information. And the railroading began. Imagine. And it was pretty scary. So pray for her. I've got good news and bad news, a little bit of each tonight. Mostly good news, and as always, bad jokes. Newsmax, I'm making my glasses for this, because, I'm not as old as Gunther, but I'm getting up there. See, I can't even find my glasses here. Newsmax wins a major ruling in the Smartmatic case. Did you guys hear about this? This is great news. The Superior Court of Delaware, and there's about 4 people on the bench in Delaware that have a brain. All the other judges, they probably should be in Congressman Wild's handicap slot. The court ruled that since Newsmax had never engaged in express malice, remember how it was going? This is before Hannity and a lot of Fox sold out. Remember when anybody was starting to bring up concerns about the election? Hey, we've got people calling in from such and such, and there's a concern about that. And then Smartmatic, and what's the word you're not allowed to say? Dominion, that one. And there's another one too, there's another big one. Whose phone is ringing? Drag them out of cuffs.
It's a woman.
Wow. Wow. So the long and short of it is, they were actually covering the Smartmatic case. And Smartmatic started to threaten them, and then they sued them for defamation, just like they did with Fox. Remember, they went after Fox for 150 billion or million? Yeah. Because billion, that's Hannity money. $150 million, and Fox did nothing wrong. See, that's the part that no one hears about. That's what bothers me. That we never hear the follow-up. Why are they getting sued? Oh, they must have lied. What's misinformation? Whatever we say it is. So that's good news. They won the case, and the DOJ basically said that it was not malice, and then we found out later that Smartmatic executives paid bribes to gain election contracts in the Philippines. So the sad part about this is all around the country there's people punching through this. They're making progress. People like in this group, people you know, people Tom knows, even out of the country, Lourdes is aware of what's going on. It's so frustrating to me when someone has lived through socialism and they try to talk to an American liberal about it. But keep in mind, the schools have done such a good job of brainwashing our children. Thank God, not mine. And I didn't beat them either. It was tempting. Believe me. It was tempting. I let them figure out things on their own. And I remember my son coming home from 8th grade, and he's now 6'3", he's my youngest son. And he said, gosh, all I talk about is green energy, green this, we have to do a project, we have to recycle this. I'm getting tired of this crap. And he discovered it on his own. And that's the good part about conservative kids. I don't think they need to be beaten as much.
As much.
That'll be the quote. Conservative podcaster abuses children. Do you know that non-citizens can go to Washington, D.C.?
Yep.
Can do that? Isn't that cool?
Everywhere.
Can you believe it? It is unbelievable. And Kamala Harris, or Kamala, as she is known, on the inside, she's giving $750 to you if you've lost your house and everything in your life, maybe even a loved one, you're going to get $750. But if you're smart down in that hurricane zone, and you say, I'm here from, I don't know where, but I'm here. You get $1,200 and a phone, and you get to stay in a hotel for free, like in California and New York. The hotel that I used to stay in when I guest host for Rush, across the street from the Premier Studios on 55th Street, it is now completely filled with illegal foreign nationals. I could not believe it. The sound guy called me to tell me, and I said, stop it. I thought he was joking, because everybody's a smartass, conservatives especially. I thought he was joking. He sent me a picture. It's not even the name of the hotel anymore. It's just illegal foreign nationals. And what they're doing is, and this is mind-boggling, that a lot of the families just leave their kids in the room because they know we are responsible, caring people. And they'll go out and hustle on the street. Sometimes they'll just go out and do whatever they want, or sometimes they'll go out and ask for money, or sometimes they're up to no good. But the house cleaning people will show up in the room and there'll be like 3 toddlers in the room. And it's like, where's your mom? Oh, I don't know, she'll be back later. Because these people know that we'll take care of their kids. If that isn't a wonderful sign of what a caring country we are. But I do have a problem with registering those kids to vote.
Yeah.
I think they're way too young.
Yep.
Way too young. So it's illegal to vote if you're not a citizen unless you're in a blue state, in many cases locally. Good news out of Arizona, 98,000 voters were incorrectly registered, and they cleared those out. North Carolina just removed 747,000 individuals from state voter rolls. Ohio, the Secretary of State Frank LaRose directed all 88 counties to begin a removal process for non-citizens on Ohio voter rolls. Anybody who is not a citizen, House Judiciary Jim Jordan wrote a letter Friday. Ooh, a letter.
Strongly worded.
He means business. I'm telling you right now, Hunter, no more coke in there, okay? Keep your cocaine out of the White House or you're going to get treated like Tina Peters. It is sad. So he sent a letter to the impeached, incompetent, lying, treasonous Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, and he said, look, I need to find out who's voting and who isn't and who's a citizen and who isn't. And Mayorkas said nothing. So, but you're right, it was a very stern letter. It was a very stern letter. This is good news from Oklahoma. 456,000 voter registrations have been removed from voter rolls since 2021 because they were incomplete or fraudulent. So this is what's so frustrating. Obviously, the media is never going to cover this. The real media. It's going to be podcasters. It's going to be local talk show hosts. Most of the major networks have sold out. I saw this firsthand in the remaining years when I was doing a lot of radio, that there was constant meetings, you know. Let's not talk about 2020 anymore. It's behind us. Don't bring up it's a stolen election. It's behind us. Let's move forward. Then you got, look, some of our biggest advertisers are hospitals. Don't talk about the vaccine killing people. And on and on and on. They went right down the list. And I got to tell you, it really ticked me off. Because I don't like people saying what I can and cannot say because I have a copy of the Constitution. Pennsylvania Department of State announced that records indicated 1,160 non-citizens since 1972, which is just a lame stat. But they put it out there. Voter registrations have been canceled. But there was a big spike since 2021. And that's because in certain counties, people are actually making progress. So I'm not out there doing it, you're doing it, we're making progress. I just hope that it's enough. Now, in Texas, I don't know if you saw last month, Greg Abbott, 1 million ineligible voters removed from the voter rolls, total. For the last 2 years. That's a big deal. And as Bill was talking about gun owners, and I'm proud to say that I'm very excited Bill's hooked up with NRA so I can get some swag. I'm a patron lifetime member for over 30 years and a certified instructor, handgun instructor. But the swag is so expensive, so if you can talk to the president, hook me up. I like a hoodie, I want a leather jacket. I don't know about the license plate. You know, don't call me a coward, but I don't put stickers on my car anymore. The last time I had stickers on my car or truck was during Bush. And that was the only time my car was ever keyed or messed with. And one time they keyed right through the sticker, and then they scratched the trunk or something. And then another time they keyed all the way along. And I thought, that's the only 2 times in my life my car has, and I used to park in New York all the time without the stickers. So I just started, I hate to do it, but I still wear my Trump stuff. So, yes, and you should. And you should wear it in the shower. And I know this is a personal question, but I would imagine there's some Trump lingerie out there. And you know, it's the best lingerie there is. It's the best. It's the best. It's the biggest. Not you, man. You're not the biggest. The lingerie is the biggest. It's great. It has the Trump logo on it. It's gold. I want to quote a very famous quote here, and thanks for your patience because my notes are kind of messed up. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created by you know the thing. That was Joe Biden that said that.
You know the thing.
And I want you to remember it when you're out voting. You know the thing. Popcorn. Toast seeker.
Corn pop.
Yes, indeed. He was a bad dude. And, you know, I remember, if you look back to Joe Biden's life, I mean, what could be more American than being at the pool, having children flatten your red leg hairs? Oh, I mean, really? I mean, I'm thinking, hey, how many people saw the VP debate?
No.
J.D. Vance killed it. He really
Yes,
did.
he did.
I was a little worried. Trump was not at his best against Kamala because he was taking on the moderators and he got angry. And I think if I was coaching him, I would have pushed him in a different direction. You know, because she got under his skin. J.D. Vance was presidential. He was respectful. He was just a badass Marine up there. And Mr. Knucklehead. My eyes are stuck because I'm a teacher. What the hell is going on with Tim Walz? What is happening? And whose idea was it to say, we're going to put this on a political advertisement. I want to have Tim Walz holding a little pig like this. Leadership. All I can imagine, I imagine Shing Dong Ding Dong, whatever the guy is that runs China, and Putin laughing their ass off, probably praying. And then he could never answer a question. And when he finally said, I'm just a knucklehead. No, you're a pathological liar, like most people in your party. And then the View says, all right, easy, none of them are here. On the View they say, Tim Walz is bringing a new sexy to politics. That alone should get you to go out and vote. If Tim Walz is the new sexy, this country is in trouble. So I wrap up with thanking you and dropping my pen and my notes on the ground. But you are the people that make the difference. And every time I speak to you, every time I speak to other groups, whether it's Birch or wherever, you need to know what you're doing is appreciated. There's thousands of us that are not engaging at your level, but we know if the local level disappears, we lose the country. We lose the country. I love talking to groups like you, again, not only because you have a brain and you use it, but you love the country. And I don't have to feel uncomfortable if I want to talk about God, or Jesus is my Savior, or this is the greatest country in the world. I don't have to feel uncomfortable. I'll tell you a little secret. I'm a certified
I'm registered to vote in Palmer Township, so don't you all tell them.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our break now. So please, at this time during your break, say hello to our speakers. They have some, I think they have some books or merchandise. Also, check out our merchandise in the back. Make sure you get some cases and always some coffee. Renew your membership. Buy your guns and goodies. Raffle tickets. Fearless Fire Company tickets. CLP for that. And
sweet, bud. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Adam. I'm the Regional Field Director for the Trump campaign for the Lehigh Valley. I do see a lot of familiar faces out there, so thank you for having me tonight. But basically, we're down to the wire now. We have 33 days left until Election Day. And all of us here do not want to see a Joe Biden 2.0 in office, right? So what are we going to do about that? So we have a couple options with the Trump campaign, and I encourage each and every one of you to get involved. I mean, looking around, I do see a lot of people that have been doing their part, but I see a lot of you I haven't met yet. And I encourage each and every one of you to come up to me at some point, either after this meeting or come to my office. I'm located in right off of Main Street in Bethlehem. That's our Trump Force headquarters for the Lehigh Valley. But what you can do to help, we have door knocking opportunities in each and every one of your neighborhoods, your precincts. I can get walk lists made for that, and we can get you literature, bumper stickers, yard signs, all that good stuff too. But if you don't want to door knock, we have other opportunities. We are doing phone calling every single day of the week. And this is something you can do from home, on your smartphones or your laptops, computers, and make phone calls to our targeted voters across the state. So if any of you would like to get involved, please feel free to talk to me or stop by my office above the Bethlehem Fruit Works in Bethlehem, and we can get you set up with the campaign. But we have 33 days left, and I encourage each and every one of you to get involved. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, did you take a good look at that young gentleman? Does he remind you of the young people on the street? Hats on backwards. We have to get the young people out to vote. So you all will talk to your kids, talk to your grandkids, get them out.
Only if they vote the right way.
Well, that's up to you to tell them.
Well, it's hard to do that.
You know, it's your responsibility to get your family to do the right thing. We don't have much time left. Voting will be before we have our next meeting. All right, at this time, I would like to welcome to the stage Lourdes Ubieta and this young lady is a journalist and a political analyst, and Bobby. If I tell her she only has 25 minutes, am I in trouble?
All right, you're going to listen to the music. That's funny. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And I'm an immigrant. I'm the daughter of Cuban refugees who come to the U.S., escaping communism and socialism, 1961. My father had to leave Cuba in a boat because they wanted to kill him because he was against the communist regime. I guess Andy knows something about that too. Because his father is also a Cuban exile. So then my parents moved to Venezuela. At the time, Venezuela was a very prosperous, as President Trump said, it was a very prosperous country because of the oil. It's a very rich country. And then, again, as a big caravan, a military related to the Narcos and a socialist, communist, friend of Fidel Castro for Cuba, took over Venezuela and kidnapped such a beautiful and rich country. Over 25 years ago. I decided that I was going to break that fate for me. I didn't want to be a slave in a socialist country. And I took off alone and came to the U.S. But
This is the most generous country in the world. I started all over my career in 2001. I had already a long career on television. I was a news anchor. I have served Venezuela in different embassies around the Middle East. I was serving the embassy of Venezuela in Kuwait during the Gulf War. I'm not sure you guys remember, I was very young at the time. And I started all over again in Miami, Florida. And why Miami? Well, because, you know, everybody speaks Spanish, and it's a large Cuban community, and my parents are Cuban, so I felt like in the best and most safe place for myself. So I started over again, and my first job, I was invited, Maria Elvira Salazar, who now is a congresswoman from South Florida, she invited me, before she was a congresswoman, she invited me to her show, to her TV show, and after she finished the interview, they asked me, have you worked on TV before? And I was like, yes. By the time I had won not one but twice the American Prize of Journalists in Spain. But of course I didn't say that because they would say I'm overqualified for any job they wanted to offer me, and I really needed a job. So they offered me a very little, you know, like 3 minutes on air and $1,300. And I took it. I said yes. Because nobody knows me here, I'm starting from scratch, and I'm going to accept this offer. After 6 months, this only happens in the United States. After 6 months, I was a news anchor in the that only happens in the United States. So from there, I started doing this. A new radio was going to, you know, start broadcasting. They called me and I started the station. And after 2 years, I was on first place, an audience in South Florida, competed with big names, with people with over 20 or 30 years on air, and I won. That only happens in the United States as well. And the reason why I won, and I've been in first place in the audience in South Florida, and I have made a living out of it, is because I know who's listening to me. I know who's listening to me. And this is something I want to talk about tonight. But first, I want to thank my good friend, Andrew, for inviting me to be here tonight. It's an honor. Thank you very much. I want to thank my friend Jimmy Navas. I want to thank my friend Hamlet Garcia, Cuban-American as well. My father, he left Cuba to Venezuela, and my father, who's deceased unfortunately, paid his tickets so he could come to the United States. So I want to thank Bobby for interviewing me this morning. That only happens in the United States. And I want to thank him also because he said, "Oh, I Google you. You are very brave. I Google you." And he says I'm brave because 3 years ago I was working in Univision Radio, which is Univision, where all the fake news media in Spanish happens, and where they brainwash the heads of the Latinos here in this country. I'm gonna go there. Don't worry, I'm gonna go there. And I had a radio show there in a Cuban radio station that it was a beacon of freedom in Florida. You know, Florida is a special case because we went from blue to purple to absolutely red right now. Thanks also to President Trump, and I'm gonna go there too. So I was in this radio station, and all of a sudden, my boss came to me and said, "Listen, I need to talk to you. our station is for sale. And I was like, Lord Jesus Christ, what is going to happen here? And she goes, that's the good news is that we have a buyer. Really? And who's the buyer? George Soros. And I was like, George Soros? Soros? The communist? Soros? This, I'm not going to say the word. And she said, oh, Lord, this place. You you are so, what was the word was like extremist. You're such an extremist. Extremist. I'm not an extremist. I'm not receiving one cent from this man. And she said, listen, we're going to give you some money. Everything, he Googled me. Everything I'm telling you is in Google. You can Google what I'm saying. So, right there. Because fake news media, they are always changing the things. No, this is what happens. And they say, I'm going to give you some money and just don't talk about what is happening. And once they buy the station, you decide if you leave or you stay. I say, no, I'm leaving today. I'm leaving right now. And I'm not accepting 1 cent from you, from Soros. And you know what? In that moment, I was the single mother of my only son. So, that's why I don't blame people who stay, because you need the money. You need to pay your bills. Only if you want to go and request money from the government, which is something that, honestly, I'd rather have 3 jobs before asking the government to give me anything. I don't want the government involved in my life, So, well, of course I left. I left before they kicked me out. I left and I started again in Odyssey. Wait, I have a 3-hour show now in Odyssey. It's a great company. And then Mr. Soto is in the picture again. But so far, I cannot talk about that, but so far, because I work there, but so far, nothing has changed. If you see a change, sometimes you Google me, you know what happened. So anyway, tonight I've been invited to talk to you guys. I'm just giving you this glimpse of what my dad has been and how grateful I am to this country. Because I've been able to do everything I couldn't do in Venezuela because of Bolshevism. So, this morning when I was talking to Bobby, I was so upset because I went to bed last night listening to Kamala Harris saying that she was giving $750 to the people who were affected by killing. And I'm like, here again. I'm like $750 in this economy.
Yeah.
This is a day? A week? No, in total.
Yeah.
Listen,
Another $8 billion to Ukraine.
but the worst part of the story is that this administration, I never thought there could be anything worse than Jimmy Carter.
Neither did we.
Till Biden administration. But the worst part of this is that this money is being offered because Alejandro Mayorkas, who happens to be also from Cuban origin, he said that FEMA doesn't have any more money because they have used the money for illegal immigrants. To pay for illegal immigrants. And I was like, okay, let me try to understand what is happening here. They have to spend over $1 billion for illegal people coming in the United States, but they don't have money for us, for the victims of Hurricane Helene. How could anybody who was born in this country vote for Kamala Harris? How can anybody support this administration? This is outrageous what they are doing. And they have this face to tell us, no, we don't have money. We don't have money. And where is the taxpayers' money? Because there's no money from the government. There's money from the taxpayer, as part of the taxpayer. So where is my money going? To pay abortions? And I always say something because I will never judge anybody on any subject. I leave that up to God. And God is my guide in every decision I made in my life. And I'm going to tell you something. The best decision I made in my life, even better than coming to the United States, is when I was pregnant with my only child. And they told me in the hospital that I had only 1% chance to save him. And that I should have, you should think of your next pregnancy. And I said, you know what? I'm pregnant now, and I'm keeping my baby. And I'm not going to help you keep my baby. And if I'm going to die in the process, I don't want to live without him. Because I'm already 20 weeks pregnant, and I'm keeping my baby, you know. So do what you have to do when I'm not helping the process of killing him. I'm helping the process of saving him. And my son today is like this tall. And when he was talking about his kids and socialism in school, last year I signed him up in a military school in Alabama. Just in case, you know, he gave free ideas from the public schools. No, I signed him up just in a public school in Alabama, in a military school. So he's far from being woke or anything like that. We are not woke, we are awake.
Damn right. Yeah.
So, going up to where I want to tell you is, I want to speak a little bit about the Latinos, you know. Because these criminals that you see on the TV stations, on these CNN, Fox, or whatever, these criminals coming from Venezuela, they are the product of that regime that we have there. What President Trump is saying is absolutely true. They empty the jails in Venezuela. And they put these people in the border with Colombia, gave them a passport and say, get the hell out of this country, we don't want you here, and see where you go. And they have gone to Argentina, to Colombia, to Panama, and to the promised land, which is the US. But the thing is that when you're a criminal in your country, you're a criminal everywhere. You know, you are just a criminal. So these criminals have come here to the United States and they have abused the system. And they have abused the system because in these blue states, that they, even in New York, oh yeah, the immigrants, we need to help the immigrants. Did you have them in Fifth Avenue or in Madison, sleeping in the streets or raping the women in the subway and selling drugs like crazy and killing people and robbery? You know, this is the worst part of the Venezuelan society is what you are seeing on the TV screen. Of course, we can never talk in general, but these people that have come illegal to the United States, they could have come legally, but they chose to do it illegally. I chose to do it legally. I chose to do it legally, and I did my process. I hired a lawyer, and I have to wait like 5-6 years, I don't know how many years to become a US citizen. One of the best days of my life, by the way. And these people, they choose to do it illegally. Why is that? Because the border is open. Because this government have let over 10 million people that we don't know who they are, what they are doing, where do they live, where do they get the money to live from? With this inflation, with this numbers that we have in the economy here these days, how do these people live? What they live from our taxes. They live out from crimes, out from robberies. That's what they are doing. And believe me, it's not a mistake from the administration. This is a plan. They are importing votes. That's what the Democratic Party is. They are importing voters. Sorry for my accent. I tried to do it the best I can. Thank you. Thank you. So they are importing voters because it's hard, very hard to win when you have the country in the shape that we have it now, where 72% of the people is living paycheck to paycheck. The numbers are out there. I'm not inventing anything. In over 30 years of working in the media or in radio stations, TV, I have never had any trouble because I always speak with the facts. But facts are enough! 10 million illegals, 72% of people living paycheck to paycheck. The crime, as we never saw it before, Trump is right about everything. I'm sorry if they don't like it, that we admit it or that we say, what is the truth? So, Latinos, how are we going to win the Latino vote? What is happening in the head of the Latinos that they come from socialist countries and they come and vote for Kamala? I mean, that's nonsense. You say, what do you think? What is it that you think? That you were born in a country, you vote for socialism over there, then you have to run away from socialism, you come to the United States and you vote for Biden. That's absolutely ridiculous. But yes, it's happening. Because the numbers say that Latinos are voting for the Democratic Party in the majority. And I'm going to tell you why is that. Because the Democratic Party, they are very well organized, and at the GOP is completely different. I'm sorry. Let me see how can I say this. In Florida, to put an example, we went from a blue state to a red state. Jill Biden, what is the name of it? The first lady, Jill Biden, she says something that reflects how ignorant she is. She said that she was in California, she said, oh, we are here in California with the Latinos, so we're going to have tacos for breakfast. I was like, I don't have tacos for breakfast. Do you have tacos for breakfast? You don't have tacos for breakfast? My husband is from Argentina, I don't have Javier, by the way, he's right there, he's my biggest fan. They have some other things for breakfast with tacos. So the first mistake that we make with the Latinos is that we think that we are all the same. And we are not. We are not the same. It's very different. The voter from Mexico, from California, and Arizona, and Texas, than we in Florida, or Pennsylvania, or New York. It's completely different. I want to tell you why. Because our origins are different. I'm the daughter of Cuban refugees. I was born in Venezuela. Who do you think I'm going to vote for? I was like, come on, I'm going to vote for Trump. But that's not, I mean, I campaigned for Trump. I know President Trump before he even ran for president. And it's logical that I'm going to vote for someone who is postulating socialism and who's trying to bring, more money to the table, to say it in a very simple way, for us to have a better quality of life. Someone who, in foreign policy, remember what was his government, and look where we are standing today, with all these wars and all these conflicts. So, the voters from Arizona and from California and from Texas and Nevada, these battleground states, they are originally from Mexico, and they come to the United States for economical reasons, basically, to get a job, to get a better business. We come for political reasons. It's different when you come from together like for money, or when you come from political reasons. Because there is an ideology, philosophy in our vote and the way we think. So in Florida, because the majority of the Latinos are Cuban Americans, first, second, third, and fourth generation, because it's 65 years that we have communism in Cuba, and then 25 years in Venezuela. I mean, I'm third generation of exiles, Cuban exiles, second, third. We are all going to vote for the Republican Party. Then we have Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans. And there's something, Puerto Ricans in Florida, and Puerto Ricans, viva Puerto Rico, hermano, que digo. And Puerto Ricans here in Pennsylvania. You know, many Puerto Ricans came to Pennsylvania after the hurricane in 2017. But it's amazing how the Puerto Rican voters have changed. And I want to give you an example. We have in Florida Senator Rick Scott, a Republican. He's a fantastic senator, a great person. He won Florida for 10,000 votes. And those 10,000 votes were from Central Florida, where the Puerto Rican community is. And why he won the Puerto Rican votes? Because when he was a governor, he helped the Puerto Ricans and traveled to Puerto Rico continuously to help the people because of a hurricane. So this community came back and said, he helped the Puerto Ricans. We are going to give him the vote, and he won. And he's going to win again now in November because he's going to re-election. Dominicans, same thing. Venezuela, same thing. Dominicano, un tigre. So we are all different. One speaks Spanish, but we are from different origins. But we have things in common. And that's why, to go to the beginning of my speech, why people listen to my show. Because I know my listeners. My listeners are Latin, and even though some come from Colombia, some from Venezuela, some from Cuba, Puerto Rico, we have kids in our public schools. We pay taxes. We are worried about security. We are worried about social security. We are worried about education. We are worried about not being able to make it month to month. These are our common problems. So when we are going to go after the Latino vote, wherever we are in the United States, we have to ask them that key question that Ken says, are you having a better life than 4 years ago? You remember when Ronald Reagan says that? Ronald Reagan also said something very, and he says, Latinos are Republicans, but they don't know it yet. He was the Republican president, huh?
You have nowhere else to go. The Cubans have nowhere else to go.
Yes, and Venezuelans either. We don't have any place to go. But besides, we don't want to go anywhere else because this is our country now. So 6 months ago, when this campaign started, and some politicians asked me, Lourdes, come and talk to the crowds, and they say, listen, here we are all convinced. We need to go after the people. We are not convinced we're having a good time, but we're going to vote for Trump. But out there is a lot of people who is not convinced. Independent, Latino. How are we going to reach out to them? How can we make it? The Florida experience to win was house to house. Neighbors, friends, little parties at home. dividing people. When I heard something that said that he cannot convince his kids of voting Republican. And I mean, there is nothing to decide here. In this family, everything is decided. And everybody's gonna vote for progress, you know? No progressism, as they call now, is socialism. We cannot get confused with these leftists. They said, you know, they changed. The Democratic rhetoric, they're very smart. We have to be really awake. They say progressism because they know socialism is such a bad word. It's such a failure that they change it to progressive. No, it's a progress. It's a progressive. Progressive Ilhan Omar, she's progressive. Rashida Tlaib, she's progressive. Ocasio-Cortez, she's progressive. I'm like, come on, they're a bunch of communists. They're a bunch of socialists. What progress is nothing. So, I wrote a book about Latino books in Spanish and English. You can find it in Amazon. Because the first thing we need to do, if you want to know about this, is to learn how to read the Latino book, how to speak to the Latino book. Here in Pennsylvania, I was here at the PA. Did you help me with the name of the conference that I went to speak? PA Leadership Conference. Okay, leadership. And someone told me, listen to this. I said, there's no way we can win the Latino vote in Pennsylvania if we keep thinking this. This person came to me and said, oh yes, I know Latinos because all my employees and my mates, they listen to Spanish radio. And I went to him, well, then we need to write ads in Spanish. And we need to put a host in Spanish there and talk to them. Because the radio works. The communities listen to radio stations. And that's why it's so awesome. But 13 stations around the United States in Spanish 3 years ago, and now he's trying to put his hand on Odyssey, which is another 300. And that's because the radio, people listen to the radio. People listen to the radio, and then how come there's no conservative radios in Spanish down here? Why we don't have like 10 shows like the one Bobby has? Why we don't have 10 Bobbies on air? We need to have 10 Bobbies on air.
There's only one Bob.
If we keep looking at the Latinos, yes, the one who, you know, do my logo, is my maid, or whatever, that's fine, doesn't matter. I wish I had a maid too. That's not the point. What I mean is that you have to understand the mentality to win because that is a vote. And we need to bring them to this side and include them in our life and try to understand because we are the first minority in the United States. We are more Latinos than African Americans. Did you know that? We are voting over 36 million Latinos are voting for weeks. Over 36 million Latinos are going to be voting. And Pennsylvania is the jewel of the crown, that I pronounce it well, the jewel of the crown. I mean, the most important thing we need to win is what I mean. And the Latino vote, the difference, because it's so tight between the Democrats and the Republicans, that the Latino vote can decide this election. The Latino vote can decide this election. The Latino vote can decide who's going to go to the White House. Can you believe that? 36 million voters. And we are here talking, and we are all convinced, and there is the Latino vote, which we need to conquer. We need to reach them. And we need to talk to them and explain them why you need to vote Republican. why you need to vote for Trump. It's not that you like Trump or you don't like Trump. You are not going to marry Trump. You know? Because this democratic rhetoric, oh no, because he's so hard on people, because he's so chusma, I don't know how to say chusma, vulgar. I don't care. If he's going
Exactly.
I don't care if you say that they're eating cats or dogs or iguanas or cockroaches. I don't care. I just want the inflation to go down. I just don't want any more war because I have 3 cousins, 3 now servants in the U.S. Army. I don't even know where my cousins are. Serving in the army here in this, I don't know where they are. So I just want peace. Peace of mind. I want this, I don't want to be paying 29% for interest rates on my credit card anymore. I don't want that.
Right.
That's all I care. I don't care if you say that I eat cats, dogs, or iguanas. I don't care. I don't want more wars. I don't want to see Jerusalem under fire with these terrorists trying to destroy the land of Jesus. I don't want to see that. We never had one war with President Trump. Those are facts. I'm not inventing anything. I'm not creating family. So these are the things we have to tell our friends, our Latino friends. If you go to the hairdresser and there is this lady, just tell her, listen, how is life treating you? Are you struggling to pay your bills? You know that if Trump wins, you're going to get a better life for you. I mean, so I have to be on the show, you see. So this is the break I have to make. So my invitation and my compromise, and I'm so grateful to be here, is to look after the Latino vote. That's what I do on a daily basis for my show. You can listen to my show if you download the Odyssey app. It's you look for Radio Libre in Spanish, but they do the podcast, they translate everything to English, so you can listen to it. And I'm very happy to be in Pennsylvania today. I went to Bethlehem with my husband and have lunch at the hotel there in Bethlehem. It's so beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Ken.
Are you going to have Bobby on your program?
Of course, I can too.
You only ask him one question and then you can go.
Well, thank you very much for everything. Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Morgan, don't forget to invite Ted Matthews, so he's go on your show.
Oh, you know, I forgot something. I forgot to mention my friend Tom Carlo. My good friend Tom. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Lourdes.
Yeah, I hate to say it, Bobby, but you're right.
Are you going to be around here with us this week? Are you staying around to do some other things? Yes? All right, we'll communicate that with everyone. In fact, there's something I want to talk to you afterwards. All right, folks, here we go. Final announcements. Everyone, if you could stay put till the end here. All right, Tom.
A lot of you may remember 4 years ago when we had the 2020 election, we had Rick Brunel come up and he spoke at the Lehigh Valley Sporting Place. You remember back in 2020 when we were locked down, even to the point of in the fall when the governor said we couldn't have more than 100 people in a room. So we weren't even being able to have our meetings here at the fire hall. We had them in parks and eventually at Bill's Sporting Place. He came up to Pennsylvania in 2020 because he wanted Trump to win. He was the director of national intelligence for Trump, and he's the one that declassified a lot of that stuff to help us understand the truth about the Russian collusion. And he's here in Pennsylvania, we'll be here next week, and we're having an event up at the Sporting Place along with Scott Pressler, and I imagine we're going to also see Ryan McKenzie. We need to have you spread the word about this. 7 p.m. next Thursday. It's important because, again, it's the last opportunity probably we're going to have to get a group together, talk about what we need to do in the final couple of weeks. And the Truck 47 Force office will be there as well to give you, and we'll have more signs. So last thing is, I put those signs out there. As you leave, please only take one per person. We don't have enough for everybody, and we'll have more signs next week when you come up to the meeting. Thank you.
All right, if you could just take a picture of this, Rick Cornell is also going to be at another event here with our candidate for Attorney General, Dave Sunday. And then we have a rally by the Women for McCormick, so if you could take a picture of that. They are, look, I think the Lehigh Valley Republican Committee sent it out. Northampton County, I will try to get to that, okay? Then we have here Berks County Patriots. Their meeting is October 17th. If you would like to join them, take a picture of that. Going once, twice, third, next one. Patriot Academy, that is classes that you can go, I believe, online, or you can go in person. So take a picture of that. And moving down here, stroll to the mall, Saturday, September 22nd. So that one is passed. We can make mistakes here at the Lehigh Valley Tea Party. That was not me. As Tom said once, he thought he was wrong, but he was mistaken. Pro-Life, we have Celebrate for Life banquet coming up next Saturday. So that is going to be a Fox News contributor, Pete Hegseth, who is on Saturdays and Sundays. So a few of us are attending that, and that's a great event. There's like 600 people usually attending that. It's a first-class event. Then we have here Monday, October 7th. We're having another rally with Manolo Propuano, Senator Marco Rubio from Florida, coming into the Americas Hotel in Allentown with Dave McCormick. All right, if you want more information, see Tom or myself, and or you can contact any of the Republican headquarters. Okay, but you can see right there, just take a picture of that on the Eventbrite. And then here we are going to do, how many of you would like to be poll watchers? If you'd like to be a poll watcher, we're having 2 training sessions over at our headquarters in Northampton County on Willow Road in Bethlehem. Those are the dates. Just take a picture of that. And you can email the gentleman that's running it, or you can call the Northampton County Republican Committee to join us for that. And we have a World War II, the early years. 3, yes. Just making sure you're reading it. Americas Hotel in Allentown. We're going there a lot. All right, moving right along there. The March for Life in Washington, D.C. I have a bus going. If you'd like to go, come and see me. We'll fill that bus up, and then we depart from Easton St. James. And our next month meeting is November 7th, a few days after the election. Folks, hopefully we'll be packed here, and we will be hugging one another and saying victory. Hopefully we won't be going to a recount of some sort, so I ask you to pray for me. All right, our 50-50 raffle. Let's see, do you have that ready back there, Tom? All right, hold on. I'm going to send Tom Carroll back with the microphone.
Thank you, and thanks everyone for contributing. Tonight's winners will receive $290 to the winner. And Tom, can you fix this? Yes. Thank you very much. And the winning number is 0115730. That's 0115730. 5730. Can you check that? 0115730.
Yay, I got it.
There we go. Thank you, everyone. I'll confirm that he has the right number.
All right, we have a closing video, but folks, the dock strike is over. The dock strike is over. All right, we're going to say a closing prayer, and then we have a quick video for you. Heavenly Father, we thank you for our great speakers who came to be with us this evening. We thank you for the Lehigh Valley Tea Party. We thank you for our candidates. Help us to unite and to be courageous, to get out there and share with our family and friends and neighbors, and to be like Donald Trump, not to be afraid, but to have courage. For fear stands for false evidence appearing real. For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Folks, if you could just wait here, we have, by request of Mr. Rush, if this works. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't leave me at the